Teddy Spaghetti, we're rocking the scene. A handsome dog, a star supreme. With versatile flying paws that slam, he's the coolest pup in the jam. Sniffing out the beats with every step. Teddy's got swagger no one can forget. Barking out loud, catching everyone's eye. He's the rebel dog, breaking the sky. Teddy Spaghetti, living his life, chewing on corn, causing strife. He's got snarling fangs and a wild voice. A punk rock pup, making all the noise.
What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. And that is an AI-generated Teddy Spaghetti song that Danzilla the Terrible made. I set it up wrong in OBS. I was gonna try to play the Miniature Schnauzer Loves Tiny Whoop Crashes edit at the same time as that. But I forgot to add that song to the second. I'm OBS is hard. Leave me alone. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti, and I'm back from Rampage. I got back from Rampage like an hour ago. I've never been this tired in my entire life. But hey, sometimes you're tired. I will live. Miniature Schnauzer Loves Tiny Whoop Crashes went up yesterday at our normal streaming time. Check it out. Here comes the link in the chat. Or just go to my channel. It's there. It's absolutely hysterical. I'm gonna do a full. I'm gonna do a full edit with that song with Doggo. I'll just chop up a ton of bits and just dump him in there. CBFPV asking Danzilla what did he use for the music? I want to know too. Just hysterical. I can't. Yo, like, I think Danzilla just, like, typed in Teddy Spaghetti is a dog or something to AI, and it did that. Like, what is that about? Hey, what? Why? Why are you off? You need to be on. Come back. Be on. Live. No. Live. What? I go away and it dies? No! Come back! No! Come on now. Don't be like that. Oh man, what? No! I'll try to fix it. This shirt stinks, man. Ooh. Yo, I've been like full tilt since Wednesday, Thursday. No, since Thursday. No, kind of since Wednesday. Thursday of last week. Wednesday night. I drove up to Rock Hill, North Carolina, South Carolina. I don't know. It took 4.5 hours to get there. Went to sleep in the hotel. Really nice hotel. Thursday, testing day at Rock Hill BMX Park for UCI BMX World Championships. I didn't really realize, like, World Championships as in the whole world would be there. There were riders and fans from all over the world, everywhere. Venezuela, Japan, Brazil, everywhere. This was the last stop, apparently, before the Olympics. Like, I was chasing riders that, when they fell, lost their chance to make it into the Olympics for BMX racing. And then there were other there were other guys, kids, women that are going to the Olympics now. Wild. Thursday was test day. Crazy regulations put on me by UCI because never have drones been allowed. First time ever. So we did a test. The main man for UCI watched on the monitor, had me follow the very restrictive flight path that I was allowed. He wanted to simulate a rider going down. So he's like, you know, just fly the route, and I'm gonna tell you when you need to abort as quickly as possible. Okay. And he's like, now. and I did it. So the restrictions were basically I only had a little horseshoe that I was allowed to fly in. I was not allowed to fly inside here because there was medical staff in here. I was not allowed to fly. The racetrack is up, down, up, down. It's like one of these pump tracks, okay, right? Where the riders like pump the shit out of the bike and go really fast. These guys are going 40 miles an hour at the bottom of this 16-foot drop. Big thing. You'll see it. And so super restrictive flight path. I was initially only allowed to be 15 feet behind the very last rider. Regardless of what happens, regardless if someone falls, if someone just slows down, gives up, I had to stay back behind them. And then if anybody crashed, I had to bail hard, full throttle, stop, don't fly over the crashed rider, turn around, back to base, back to the, you know, wherever I was going to land and fly from. Crazy restrictions, crazy. I'm sure there's a couple others that I'm not thinking about, but yeah, very difficult set of restrictions. Passed the first safety test on Thursday, got sunburned as hell the rest of that day. Super sunny, super hot day. Yeah, test video again, test comms, all the you know, necessary things that are not super fun, but you got to do it. That's Thursday. Friday, qualifying day. 6 hours straight of flying battery after battery after battery after battery after battery after battery, sending that footage into the truck for them to edit into the live stream and put on the Jumbotron. Those restrictions were brutal. The worst of them was that when a rider would go down, I would be 30, 35, 40 miles an hour, 15 feet behind him, and I would have to hammer on the anchors, get it stopped, turn around, not fly over anybody, and somehow make it back to base. The worst part, the worst scenarios would be, so track goes up, I pick him up in turn 1, chase him down through turn 2, let go of him at turn 3. The worst would be right in here, the third straightaway. When they would go down, I would have to hammer on the brakes, turn completely around, go back the wrong way on the racetrack, around all the medical staff, and then come all the way back home. Not a great idea, but hey, first time doing it, I get it. UCI is super nervous. For the love of God, don't let the drone fly over the athletes. I get it. Cool, right? Do it. Sketchy as hell. I'm having to hammer on the rig, right? Like, we're jamming, and I don't know when they're gonna fall, so I have to react to them falling, blast it in the other direction, right? Super challenging. Got it done. Couple of times there was just not a whole lot I could do. I ended up like full throttle straight at these kids, right? Because when you're trying to stop, you're gonna kind of lose altitude. Not a great idea. Noted, right? Playing by the rules, not gonna start no shit. I'm doing what they told me to. I figured, look, let's do it by the letter of their, you know, current rule set, and then hopefully I can talk to them that night or the next morning, give them some feedback, sweet talk them, and maybe get a little bit more freedom, right? Fly. The other big problem that made it there was a little bit where I started to get frustrated. So during qualifying, when like the not a, I don't know, maybe let's say 30% of the time, the rider in last place, if they started to really get gapped, they would just say to hell with it and they would just back off, and I'm stuck. And they're never going to take that shot, right? Because I'm just looking at nothing. I'm looking at a rider that's given up, and everybody else rampages on, and it's at a, you know, I'm worthless at that point, right? Which sucks, because I have the best seat in the house to this. So that's getting frustrating, but I'm just, you know, shut my mouth, play the game, do what I'm told. Friday goes great. Everything's totally fine, other than, you know, that frustration. Saturday, finals day. Last race before the Olympics, apparently. I linked up with the UCI guy, the main guy, and I said, hey, Hank, I got some feedback for you in terms of safety. And I just gently gave him like a quick background, you know, flying for 8+ years, doing this professionally for 3.5, never had any safety issues in the, you know, professional setting. And I said, look, there are two things that make me feel extremely safe: predictability and letting and just not pushing the gear to its absolute limits, not push the drone absolutely as hard as I possibly can, full throttle. And when these kids crash, I have to push the drone absolutely full throttle, and I become unpredictable because trying to get this thing stopped is very difficult, and it will be much safer if you let me go sailing right over that rider, completely chilled out, because that's what I'm doing. I'm just tracing a pretty much straight line down both of these straights, and that's where they're crashing usually. It'll be way safer. I will be over that rider for a split second. Sometimes I won't even be over the rider because I'll be on one side of the track or the other side of the track, and they'll crash out and whatnot. And it'll also allow my gear not to be pushed to the limit, and that's when the gear just runs forever, when you're not pushing it to its limits. Sweet talked him a little bit more than that, but that's the gist of it. And he like kind of thinks about, I'm sorry, his name's not Hank, his name's Norm. And he thinks about it. I could see the wheels turning. He's like, okay, I trust you. Let's do that. And then the other change was, he said, you know, he talked to the why would you know? You don't know. He talked to the director, and he okayed me to chase down I couldn't believe this, chase them down the 16-foot drop. Big, you know, they got the gates, and then they go ripping down the hill. There's an Instagram reel over on my Instagram channel from day one. If you guys want to check it out, it'll make a lot more sense. So he okayed me, but the caveat was, so they got this big tower, and then behind the tower they got these big ass tents, and he says you have to hover back above those tents so that if you fall out of the air, you just fall into the tents. You don't fall into anybody's head. Okay, fine. First 2 runs, I'm like 30-40 feet back from this tower, and so rider's ready, wait for the beep, and then there's a randomized amount of time, and I'm, like I said, at least 20 feet, maybe even more, maybe 30 or 40 feet back, and I'm also not allowed to go through the big thing that has, you know, their signage and whatnot. I have to go up over it, right? And these kids are fast. Kids, adults, women, they're all fast. They're literal Olympians. Ridiculous. So I'm back there. So first 2 runs, gate drops, full throttle. Just pitch it straight down, full throttle to try to catch them. I knew it. I just absolutely knew that it was going to be brutal to try to catch them. Hammer it. What? I mean, like, you know, 4,600 kV 4S, 2.5-inch propellers, just screaming. Catch them up by the bottom, chase them, everything's cool. Second run, same thing. Catch them a little bit earlier. My phone rings in my back pocket, and it's the guy that originally 3 years ago brought me into the cycling world. Chris is like, everybody's complaining about the noise on the start. Just pick them up from turn 1. I said, Chris, can I get one more shot? I have been absolute full throttle hammering it to try to catch them because they are fast. I said, I can catch them a lot more quiet. Give me one shot. He's like, do it. And so basically what I did is hover and then just bury the nose. I picked up more elevation, and then I would just leave the throttle where it was, maybe give it a little bit, and then just bury the nose, right? So when you're hovering, you're lifting up the whole weight of the rig, 249 grams, right? And so when you go absolute straight nose down, you've got 250 grams of thrust going backwards. So it accelerates pretty good. Nothing like when you're full throttle, obviously. And that worked kind of okay. They gapped me like crazy, but no complaints about noise after that, which was cool. By the end of the day, I had actually given up on that because they were gapping me so bad that by the time I caught them, it was turn 1. And then that's when the director would pick up my camera. And, like, what's the point? If he's never going to take my camera when I'm chasing him down the hill, I'll just pick him up in turn 1. It's, you know, I don't have to... What was cool about picking him up in turn 1 is there was a static camera on the outside of turn 1, and half of his platform was empty. So I could just park it on the platform and shut it off and save a ton of battery. When I was having to hover up above the thing, I didn't know when they were going to go. They're up on the pedals for sometimes 10-15 seconds, and I'm just burning battery. And then later in the day, what I actually started doing that everybody loved is I was sitting down the bottom of the drop-in ramp, and they would come rip, and I had this awesome shot looking right up at the ramp, them getting up on the pedals, the gate drops, them blasting down the hill, and then as they get to the bottom, I just rotate right with them and just pick right up on them as they jump over the first tabletop. It was the first time I did it, the director's like, oh, take drone for instant replay. So in between the races, there's like 4 or 5 minutes, and so then they just run instant replay in slow motion from a lot of different cameras, and almost every time they were doing drone instant replay. It was so cool. And so that was like the money was hanging out down there, or like sometimes I would hang out in the middle of that tabletop and then just watch them sail right up over and then just pick them up and then chase them down into the next 2 whoops into the first corner. This facility, the banked, when you stand at the bottom of these banked turns, they're like 15 feet high. It is crazy. And for a drone to dive in there with them, it is the coolest thing ever, because they're fully banked and I'm fully banked, and it's just like a goddamn roller coaster with 8 BMX racers just ripping and like shoulder to shoulder and bumping each other, and they're falling, and like bikes are bouncing up in the air. I think I have some decent Insta360 Go 2 footage that we'll look at maybe Friday. But I'm afraid that I'm afraid that I was pushing the button to start it recording when I thought when it was actually stopping recording. I don't know. We'll see. I have some stuff from Friday for sure. Some of it is up already on an Instagram reel. But Saturday was the day, and a couple of the races where I had the Insta360 Go 2 on there were like insane, but I don't think I got it. I looked at it really quickly that night on the laptop, and I think I screwed up with the Insta360 Go, but a lot of it was in the live stream, and I'm going to see if I can get a hold of that broadcast as a digital file, but we'll see whether or not I can get that. Who knows? But yeah, it was all broadcast live, Koala, on UCI's website, I believe. And so Saturday went absolutely fantastic. Chris, that hired me on for these and a lot of the other gigs, he said that like the mayor of Rock Hill was there, and he was absolutely blown away by the drone coverage, which is a big deal because like they do a lot of other events at this venue. This BMX park in Rock Hill is apparently like the best in the world. It was like they spent like an infinite amount of money on it apparently, and it's just like absolutely world class. And it's not that far from me. And chasing these guys is super fun, super challenging. Jesus, like the Criterium stuff is like, it's really cool. It's almost like arty because like the Peloton kind of moves around like a school of fish, and it's like there's a lot of action, but like you know, it's an hour-long race. A lot of Criteriums are an hour long, right? So they're pacing themselves. This is like their runs are like 20-something seconds, and I mean it's just all go from beginning to end. And And so yeah, just madness. By the way, over on Discord, I posted a link in general to a quick recap of the men's final, which has some drone in it, some drone footage in it, and some drone hating morons commented like, "Oh, I hate the drone footage," and then and so over on Discord, I put the link and I asked you guys if you have a minute and if you're interested. If you can go in there and just drop a comment saying, like, you know, be honest, right? Like, if you hated the drone footage that's cut in, like, maybe just don't say anything. But if you did like it, if you don't mind, leave a reply to that, or just put a fresh comment in there, or at least, like, click hearts on the comments from a couple people who have already, from our little community, that have already said, like, the drone footage was awesome. And just, yeah, say what you liked, what you didn't like. You know, in my opinion, the drone footage gives a sense of speed that you do not get from the static cameras. It gives a sense of scale that you do not get from the static cameras. These jumps are gigantic. Like, all of the jumps and whoops and tabletops are taller than my gangly ass, and then these guys are sailing over them, and girls. And you just, in my opinion, you just don't get that with the static cameras. And, like, one of the, I was playing around with, like, a couple different ways of doing it. I think what I like best is I try to just trace a dead level. It's kind of boring, but it's actually really hard to fly it. I try to trace a dead level line that's, like, exactly even with the highest jump, so that they jump up and down, and that, in my opinion, kind of gives the biggest sense of scale. What's the most fun is for me to jump with them, like, and that. So I did that a couple of times, but, like, they're just doing this, so, like, you don't get that sense of scale with it. So I don't personally like that. I do want to talk to the director at some point here and ask him what he likes better, because it's, you know, he's the one telling the story. But yeah, if you don't mind and you want to share some love, next. So this is this World Championship goes all around the world. It will not be back in America for 7 years. Next year it's in Stockholm. And they're already talking about getting me out there to Stockholm for next year, and goddamn better believe I want that. So if you guys don't mind, just show some love in there. Don't be nasty to this guy. Don't be jerks, but show some love. Let's go to fucking Stockholm together, my friends. That would be ridiculous. So yeah. I think that's about it for UCI. Grueling stuff, man. 6 hours a day, both days. Battery after battery after battery after battery after. I easily flew 60, 70, 80, 90. I don't know. I don't know how to keep track of that, but loads and loads and loads of batteries. Weather held up, which is great. It was supposed to. Hey, can CMYK, can you drop a link in the chat, or any moderator? Can you hit a link in the chat? Wait, no, hold on. It's right in front of me. Hold on, I got you guys. Hold on. And we're going to copy link. Here you guys go. Nope, that's not it. I need to click. Well, I can just do this. That should be the link. And look, here's the little chunk of text that I put over in Discord, like, with just, for Christ's sakes, just with, like, a couple ideas for it. There you go. Don't just copy that. I don't want a whole bunch of people just saying the exact same thing. Yeah. Be honest. If the clip is there, you'll see it. Look at the drone footage. If you think the drone footage doesn't match with the static cams and you'd rather have static cams, you can comment if you want. Maybe don't. But don't lie. If you think the drone footage looks like shit, I'm not asking you to lie. I am genuinely curious what you guys think. It's a pretty loaded question. We're all FPV pilots, so of course we're going to love it. But still, yeah, if you genuinely hate it, it's all good. So yeah, I've linked back up with Norm after the event. He seemed super happy. I got no other complaints from anybody, and we were on comms with him. Like, if there were a couple of times on the not on the test day, on the qualifying day, that Norm radioed into the truck, and then the truck radioed to me. So I was in communication with him. So if he had any safety concerns, any other concerns, I would have found out about it pretty quick. And all was well Saturday. I talked to him after the event. He was super busy, but he gave me a smile and said thanks, whatever. So it seemed to be rad. And yeah, Chris was blown away, which means a lot because Chris has been the director on numerous literal Olympic broadcasts. So like he's been around the world. He is like, yeah, a very well-known guy in the live sports broadcast world. So yeah, the UCI BMX World Championships was a massive success. All the gear worked great. I did a little bit of testing in reference to the noise. I would love to see if I can quiet the sub 250 rigs down a little bit. So I brought a set of the HQ 6 blade 2.5 inch props and put them on, and I swear to God they were no quieter, and the wind was just annihilating me. I have never, maybe because I've only ever run multi-bladed props like that inside of a duct, I've never really noticed how much more of an effect a crosswind has with a multi-bladed propeller. It was brutal. Like, it felt like I put ducts on the rig. And so I put them up in the air. I tested the runtime on them. I was getting... So, here's another cool thing. So, they didn't have a Mavic pilot. And they're always looking for what they call pretties, or like beauty shots or whatever. Send it up be a Mavic, right? And so one of the things the truck can do is like bank your footage and just throw it on a hard drive, and then they can pull it up. So when there would be like a really nasty crash and the medical crew would need to, for the record, oh my God, they wreck hard. Like, it is nasty. They had like 20 medics out there and like 4 or 5 backboards, and like it was crazy. And then like some of these crashes were just nuts, like scary nuts. But like a lot of them were younger, and you know they're malleable. They bounce, and nobody got like seriously injured. There were many kids crying from crashes, but they were crying because they'd lost their shot to go to the Olympics, and like. And there's so much drama in this. It's like, and that's the director Olivier is a really good storyteller, and there's a lot of story to be told, and that is the art of live broadcast. And it was just so cool to see that. But what a man, a lucky motherfucker. So yeah, the 6 blade. So every once in a while, I would go up and give them like what we call like horseshoes, basically. Keep the horizon as flat as you can and just show the arena, right? Mavic stuff, right? Just up high, show the arena. The AOS is relatively low camera angle, so it actually worked pretty well. And in doing so, I would fly an entire battery like that. The tri-blade propellers that I normally run, which are Azure 2540s, I'm able to get 8 minutes up doing those simple, gentle rips. The 6-bladed props, I got 545 or 550 or so, in case you were ever wondering what the difference in runtime is between a tri-blade and a 6-blade prop. So yeah, but I will never run those 6-blade props again. I guess no, there's no reason to. They were no quieter, and yeah, like even on a windless day, it's like, why? Less runtime, no real reduction in noise. Why bother? I am gonna try some other tri-bladed props. Patrick has a decibel meter, so I'm gonna bug him to borrow it, or maybe I'll just bring a bunch of those props over to his place and we'll hang and set something up. I am gonna try to find a propeller that's quieter, because I did talk to a couple of the cyclists after the event, and just basically like I cruised through their little paddock area, and I'm like, hey, were you one of the cyclists? Yeah, awesome. Did the drone bother you in any way at all? Please be honest. And every single one of them was like, no, it's great, man. It's so cool. Love it. But one of the younger female competitors said that the drone sounded like someone crashing behind her. And for just like a split second, she was like, oh, like, because she thought somebody crashed. And I was like, okay, there we go. So between that and the fact that when I was hammering it to try to catch him going down the drop-in, that it was obviously too loud. Yeah, I would like to try to find a propeller that's a little bit quieter. So there'll be some... Sooner than later, you guys will know which 2.5-inch propeller is the quietest. Information that nobody ever needs. But, hey, we'll have it. So, yeah, huge success. Hard work, man. Hard work. At the Criterium races, I cover the two pro races are about an hour each, 45 minutes, an hour, sometimes an hour 15, and those two Criterium pro races, I'm up the whole time, right? So maximum 2.5 hours. Before them, I do a bunch of testing, and they'll have like the slower classes basically. And I'll put a battery up here and there, but it's not like a constant thing. Those aren't live streamed. Those are just put up on the Jumbotron. So it's chill. You know, I fly for the sake of flying. The truck understands that like the more often I go up in the air, the more chance there's going to be of a failure, right? So they do not expect or really want me to be constantly up in the air there. This was 6 hours, nonstop. DJI V2 goggles. My eyes were wrecked just from nothing wrong with the goggles whatsoever, but max focus because like I mean all hell's breaking loose. I mean it's just chaos every run, chaos, and so I'm just in the goggles like just like really laser focused on the screens. And yeah, after 6 hours, that's brutal. So that was eye-opening. No? Yeah, so that was crazy. I've never experienced that before. And then just the stress level of flying. Right, first time that the UCI was doing it, can't fuck up. Olympic level athletes can't fuck up, right? Like all these things that are just like, don't get it wrong. Like this is not the time to get it wrong. And so, you put all that together and it's just ultra stress. You want to talk about, you want to feel better about having anxiety, my friends? Here you go. Anxiety sucks. No getting around that. Generalized anxiety disorder blows. Would really rather not have it. But living your life with anxiety allows you to perform in a situation like that. You have like almost kind of trained your whole life to be able to fucking show up and just get it done in a scenario like that, because on the most relaxed day of my life, my brain's like, yo, let's overthink everything. Oh my God, remember that one time 14 years ago that you said that one thing to that person, they made a weird face? Let's think about it for the next 4 fucking hours. So, yeah. No better guy to be to be the pilot for that. Because yeah, I've been an anxious mess for an awful long time. So there you go. There's your if you suffer with mental health shit related to anxiety, find an incredibly high stress environment and you will probably perform really well, or you'll just melt down and explode. But hopefully not. So yeah, that was a massive success. I didn't really need to get... It was interesting. I didn't need to get close to them. Like, they are... With the Criterium races, like, they're kind of chill and they're cruising, saving their energy most of the time. So, getting close to the riders pumps up the intensity and the action and gives it just more life. And it's safer to do that because they are very predictable. With this, really no need to get close to them. They're doing the hard work. They're doing something incredibly interesting and exciting and crazy. And so I don't have to do something incredible and crazy. I just have to be there, right? Like, we talk about this sometimes. Like, if your subject is doing something wild, don't do too much work. Just point the damn thing at them. Put it in crazy positions where nobody can put a regular camera, and that's enough. Like, if your subject is doing something nuts and you're doing something totally nuts, sometimes it can kind of be too much. And so it was, yeah, and yeah, there's all these other things going on, and first time ever, so stay safe. But yeah, like, hopefully when I do it in the future, I won't be much more crazy with it. It's just like, figure out. I am really looking forward to spending more time doing this. Like, with the criterium races, I've figured out like some specific things that look really good now that I've done 7 or 8 or 9 of them. And I can't wait for that with this, because I want to play around more with like jumping with them. And I also want to play around with different up tilts on the cameras. I was flying fairly low up tilt, which when you fly a low up tilt and you go fast, you have to increase your altitude, just because that's how quads work. And so I want to play around more with extra up tilt so I can actually run lower and faster. And I just want to experiment more. This was not the time to really experiment, right? World Championships, feeding into the Olympics, first time ever. Like, this is the time to be safe, but obviously give them something really good so that they have to have it in the future. But yeah, I really, really, really hope that I get to do this again, because it's an absolute blast, and it's a viewpoint that it's just nuts. You feel like you're in it with them. You feel like you're on this roller coaster with them, going through these banked turns. Oh my god, it is so cool. Like, there was a couple times that I like drop really low, and it's not easy, but like, it's almost easy because the banking is with you. Like, you don't have to cross coordinate the sticks. You just fucking bank and yank in there and just ride the roller coaster all the way through. Just wild, man. I really hope there's some good stuff on the Insta360 Go. I don't think there is, but we'll take a look at it. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday. We wrapped at 6:30 on Saturday. Pack up as quick as I can, say goodbye to a couple of people, straight to Rampage. 2 hours south to Rampage. Got there 8 o'clock, 8:30. Completely wiped out. Like, my brain wasn't working. I was sunburned as hell. I stank like a bum's nutsack. It was wild. Like, I was like having conversations with people. I'm like, not just I was just not there. Hit the hotel, got some sleep, which was great, and then that brings us to Sunday. I'm still wiped out. Sunday was amazing. So Saturday night, walk into absolute motherfucking superstars. Set up Micro Mayhem all by themselves. Like, just did such a good job. My God. Like, oh my God. Just so good. Kevin and Simos just absolutely killed it. T-Bird also, massive thank you. Ken, massive thank you. Yeah, these 4 guys are the absolute superstars of Micro Mayhem. Set up all the lights. We didn't use the rope lights this year, which was great. We had extra of these big LED panel lights, which were just so cool. The room looked so good. There were like different areas of the room that were like red and then blue and then green and purple, and it just was fucking awesome. That was the best flight line, hands down, if you had a tiny whoop with some power. Yeah, so that was so cool. to see that all set up like that. So proud of those guys. So lucky to have so many cool people. And then so yeah, Sunday slept in a little bit. Got there by about noon and spent all day in Micro Mayhem, just flying batteries, hanging with people. Yeah, I mean every single Rampage, like I'm just, it's just, we just have such a cool community. FPV is just such a unique thing, and like the people are so, just such a cool group of people, man. And like just people coming up to me, you know, telling them that they love watching live streams, showing me their builds that, you know, one of my builds inspired them to do, you know, mentioning like specific edits that inspired them to go out because, you know, they were in a weird part of their life or whatever. A couple of folks kind of mentioning mental illness stuff and thanking me for, you know, attempting to sort of break the stigma and just, you know, just being willing to talk about it, right? Nobody talks about that shit. It's one of the big problems with it. Yeah, just incredible, man. So many insane, great conversations with such cool human beings that are all into the flying toy helicopters. I mean, just wild. To be honest, every year that happens. Every single year at Rampage that happens. This year I got one full day less of it, which feels very weird. I really wish I could have been there on Saturday. It really, yesterday felt like super condensed, but I mean, it was phenomenal. It was just so cool. Hey Sage, there's a Big Mac in the fridge for you if you're interested. Yeah, man. And yeah, just flew tons of batteries. We're going to talk a lot more about that on Wednesday. We're going to talk about the VCI 0803s, how they held up. We're going to talk about the 36,000 KV 0702s, how they held up. Bunch of other stuff that I'm not remembering right now. The indestructible rig is not indestructible at all. The AIO so the indestructible rig, I did a live stream a couple of weeks ago. I took a set of 0802 33,000 kV stators. I took the motors, pulled the bells off, took those stators, and then I took a set of iGao 1.5mm motor shaft bells and put those together to create the unobtainium motor. And then I put them on a Cockroach 65 V3 frame with an AIO that the VTX was on its way out. And it was like, cool. You know, the rest of it's the standard Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop formula, right? Mobula 6 canopy, Runcam Nano 3 camera, BT 2.0. I finally killed the VTX. So, you know, if that rig had an AIO that wasn't gasping for its last breaths, it would absolutely have survived. But yeah, did manage to kill number 2. This is the second Mobula 6 ELRS 2G4 old school AIO that I've killed in how many months of absolute terrorism? I should probably have not said that on a live stream on YouTube, but here we are. So yeah, they are killable, but good lord, does it take a lot to finally kill them. So that rig is down. I don't know if I'm going to rebuild that rig. I had those motors. I built those motors to try on 75mm rigs with the 1610 props, just to see like what's the how hard can we push those 1610 props on 802s before the KV goes too high. Peace and love FPV with a $4.20 weed number super chat. There we go. He says, for killing the VTX. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the support. Very cool of you. Hey, this is my full-time job. CiottiFPV.com has a million ways that you can support me. Patreon's the best. Super chats are great. There's a PayPal button over there if you don't want YouTube to get 30% of your money from a super chat. I don't care. YouTube gives me this platform to stream on. It's all good. There's an Etsy store with some fun stuff you can buy. There's a Teespring store with some fun shirts. This one's not on there. Some other good ones on there, though. There's a Fiverr channel where you can work directly one-on-one with me. You can get a half-an-hour session or an hour-long session. We can get into the sim together, and I can help you fly better, show you how what my style consists of. We can work together on how to tune, or we can do build planning so that you stop building stuff that catches on fire. Or you can just ask me questions for a half an hour. If you think you want to start doing professional work, you can just hammer me with a half an hour's worth of questions about how I got started doing it, what works, what doesn't, whatever. Like, you can drive the session, or I can drive the session, whichever. You're buying a half an hour or an hour of my time to get one-on-one, support. We do a Skype call, and yeah, you get many months worth of knowledge condensed down into a half an hour. I try to give you guys all of the knowledge that I've ever accumulated here on the live streams, but it takes a long time, and it's harder to kind of sort through. So here's a way for you to get all the info that you want all at once. I got you, yo. A bunch of affiliate links over there as well. It's 2024, my friends. If you're not using affiliate links, you're hurting a YouTube creator that you already watch. So use somebody's. You don't have to use mine, but use somebody's affiliate links. Pretty much all websites at this point have affiliate links. So every time you're about to buy something on a website, just hold on. Somebody's got an affiliate link. Let me help someone out. It feels good to help people out, doesn't it? Wouldn't it feel good to just click a button and then help somebody out? Do it. It's hard to remember. I get it. Replace your bookmarks with your favorite people's affiliate links. That's an easy way to remember. If you don't use bookmarks and you just type into the URL bar, you can type AMA for Amazon. You can click remove suggestion. It's going to be off on the right there. And then click somebody's affiliate links a couple times. And then when you type AMA, your browser will think you want to go to their affiliate link. There you go. You don't have to remember it again. Thank you, guys. You've made most of this possible. And I'm a lucky motherfucker, and I know I say it a lot, but I mean it, and it's important. Never forget your roots. Never insert other words here that show my appreciation for you guys. I really do love every single one of you. I really appreciate it. Hanging out in the chat, whatever you guys do, watching this helps, right? Don't stop coming up to me and saying, or messaging me and saying I'm so sorry, I got to jump off your Patreon, or I'm going to join your Patreon someday. You don't have to join my Patreon. If you want to, I love that. I would love you to. There's lots of good stuff over there, but you are not shortchanging me by not doing it. Learning from these live streams is incredibly helpful. And then someday you see me and you're like, dude, I love your live streams. That's everything. Just that little thing. Just when I find out that someone got anything, enjoyment, knowledge, whatever, out of this that I'm doing, that's it. That's 9.9 out of 10. If you then kick me a few dollars on Patreon, awesome. 10 out of 10. Love it. But never, ever, ever, ever feel bad about not being able to join my Patreon or not being able to super chat. Fuck that. Hang out, learn something, rip, have a good time, and then if you ever see me, shake my hand and say, dude, I love watching your stuff. Or just fucking nod. Anything. I don't care what it is. It just blows me away, and it means so much to me that anybody watches, literally just watching, that is insane. When I find there's what was really interesting about this Rampage is that there were a whole bunch of people that for whatever, my default is you guys watch, right? You guys in chat, right? You're the ones that I get to see. You're the names that I get to see. So, in my mind, you guys are the only ones that really watch. I don't realize that there are, and there are people that actually watch these and I just don't realize it. And like when I find this Rampage, I found out like a bunch of these people that I just, there's no reason for me to like not think that they're not watching. Like it's not like, oh, he hates me. It's just I just never thought of, I never knew it. Never knew that this person has ever seen one of my live streams or enjoyed them. And there were like a bunch of people that like, yeah, I found out that they like actually know that that this exists, and they have watched a bunch and or religiously watched them, and it was I was just like, it felt real good. It felt really, really good. And that was a new thing, this Rampage. That was very cool. It was very, very, very cool. It's yeah. Those of you that have put edits up on YouTube and then you get a bunch of views, know what I mean. It feels good to know that anybody that's made anything or does anything, it feels awesome to know that like strangers strangers dig it, you know what I mean? Like when you do a thing, when you like put your fucking heart and soul into something, and like you develop something that is like your version of art, right? Because art is like this crazy out there concept that can be anything. That's rad. So spread that shit around, you know? When you watch somebody's stuff, leave a comment, say something, send a link to somebody else. It feels so goddamn good. It really does. And if you've been waiting to make a channel with some actual content and put stuff up, stop waiting. Put stuff up. It feels awesome. Yeah, you're only going to get 10 views. But look, that's like 9 people, because you're number 10. You're the first one that watched it, right? Because you clicked it. That's 9 people. That's pretty cool. Try to make something locally. Pretend the internet doesn't exist. Try to get 9 people. Paint something. Try to get 9 people to look at it. How you gonna do that? Where are you gonna go? You gonna go to the library and walk up the hey, stranger, look at it. I painted this. You'll get more than 10 people on the second one. It takes a long time to get a bunch of people, but do it. Here's the other thing that'll happen. You will have a thing on the internet that's forever, of a moment in your life that will never go away. 30 years from now, you can click on that and you will relive that moment. I have videos that are 17 years old here on YouTube on my other old channel, Ciotti87, that I can click those videos and 100% relive that exact moment, mainly because of the time that you spend in editing. I know you hate editing. I don't love it either. I don't hate it at the moment. But everybody hates editing. But look, the time that you spend editing is what cements that memory in your brain forever. All right? Take my word on this. If you've not done an edit 10 years ago, 15 years ago, take my word on this. I've talked to people who have, and every single one of them says the exact same thing. That moment in your life, you can relive it, and that's a gift. It is an absolute gift. As you get older, especially if you have depression wipes your fucking etch-a-sketches your memory, because that's what our brains do. Our brains erase bad memories, because why would you want to live with a bad memory forever, right? It makes sense. This is an awesome way to have permanent memories forever. And it's on your hard drive too, right? But having it up on YouTube is cool because you can click it anywhere. And you can show people. Someone will be like, what do you do for fun? And you can be like, look at this. And they can watch 4 seconds of it and be like, why do you keep fucking flipping over? Stop flipping over. And then you can be like, oh my God, I remember when Ciotti said that. That's why he flies soft and like more cinematic. Maybe I'll start doing that. And then, yeah, hold on. I got a whole bunch of batteries that are now at storage voltage. Hell yeah. Oh my God, look who it is. Look who it is. You handsome son of a bitch, you. He got a haircut while I was gone, and now he looks like an angry German. Nothing to say? He's sniffing me. He's thinking about it. You're a good boy. I love you. He was so happy to see me, he peed his pants. But he didn't have pants on, so he just peed on the ground. Yeah, Rampage was awesome. Rampage was awesome. Today, got there and flew a bunch of 5-inch batteries at the Nook flying spot. And I flew the goddamn Grinderino. And it flies great. I flew a bunch of batteries on the Grinderino. And I was kind of almost maybe on fire. Sort of. You're going to dig it. Look at this official shit. This is the most official thing ever. Look at this. Look at this. It's like a world event. So they put where you're from on it. So it was official thing ever. Wild. Absolutely wild. And I finally hit. Who remembers the giant power loop? Be honest. Who remembers the giant power loop that I was trying over and over and over again in Micro Mayhem last year? If you remember it, what was the... you might not know. Maybe you'll know. What was I going through? If you remember it. And remember I didn't get it? I don't think I got it. I'm pretty sure I didn't get it. But who remembers that? Who remembers that massive power loop that I just couldn't quite get? The floor. I finally hit it. Last year we were at 32,000 kV. This year 36,000 kV got it done. BLDO550 with a $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, as soon as I unlearn muscle memory from flying helis, I'll post a vid. Awesome, dude. Thank you for the generous support. Metadirtson with a 690 super chat. He says, busy packing up drone bench to move, but still here. How did the walk snail cam mount work out? I didn't end up using them. The camera mount that I'd put on there had no top plate in view. I realized that on a stream last year. Morton Upshot, you're the closest. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I did it. I finally got that gigantic power loop. And I think I almost hit it on the first shot. The first shot that I tried it, which was like on the second battery that I flew in there, I pulled it off perfectly, and then as I was going back through the pipes, halfway through the pipes, I don't know what happened, and I just dinked it off the pipe. I was like, no, for whatever reason, I was just nailing it all the way back. I think it was just the extra power, the 36,000 kV motors, although between last year's Rampage and this year's Rampage, so call it 360 days, call it 350 days, certainly not 6 batteries a day every day. Let's say 2 batteries a day every day, 357, minimum 700 batteries have been flown. So I'm a better pilot than I was last year, especially on tiny whoops, right? So I'm sure that had something to do with it. But yeah, I was able to hurl that fucker across. Oh, and we measured it out. It was 17 paces. It was either 17 or 19 big gangly man steps, which I think was about 30 feet. So it was basically like a 30-foot power loop. The approach was through these pipes that the hole was about this tall and probably about that wide. And then on the power loop, there were 2 horizontal beams that I had to like avoid. I had to either go over or under them. I don't even know if I think I was going up over them. But yeah, big, nasty power loop, and finally got it. The hardest part was that the exit, so you go through this big, whatever, 30-foot long run, and then the last rectangle that you're going through was half the size. There was a bar right through the middle. So you had to be locked in, and then you had to go up and get out through the top part. And that last part bit me a bunch of times, 6 or 7 times. But yeah, finally got there. It's somewhere on here. Here is Micro Mayhem. This is just going to be a random file. I have absolutely no idea what I'm flying here. We're going to dive into these on Whoop Wednesday this week for sure. Oh my god, why? But yeah, here is Micro Mayhem 2024. As built by Kevin Sumner and Simos and T-Bird and Ken. Here it is. There you go. Tell me I didn't pick the exact file where I did it. No. Okay, yeah. So there's me missing it. But that was it. That is the big impo. Okay, this is interesting. This might be the battery where I did it because I was trying to put it into a line. I didn't. See how it's high up on. No, this is not it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So you see the last one is up higher. Oh, this is what I fell down through. I only fell down to the very bottom under the grates once. And check this out. I was actually able to find my way out of here. Usually you have to find an access panel, pull it off, and then climb down the ladder and crawl around down here to get your shit. But I just thought, like, hey, let me go around the outside of this, and maybe there'll be a spot where I can fly back up it. And look, all year last year, I didn't realize this was here. This is a big thing. Look, and we're good. All's well. Unbelievable. I think this is the battery where I do it, yo. Hold on, let's see. Ugh, it's hard, dude. This was brutal. Look at this. Look at it. The Simos he wrote Rampage in the light tubes that McConnell sent me. Hey, there's a bunch of the fellas saying hi. Yeah, so this whole battery is gonna be me trying it, I'll bet. Yeah, see how that last one's higher? How did I get so fakakta on that one? Wow, I almost hit. Yeah, see, so there's me hitting the very last one. That I would have kept going though. That was all like off to the side and shit. Actually, I don't think I get it on this battery. I don't think this is the battery where I get it. Because I think it was just a couple of us in here. I don't think there were this many people in there. But yeah, this is Micro Mayhem 2024. It looked so cool in here. The extra big lights were just perfect. The flashing is just incredible multipathing, right? This is a concrete box with metal tubes and metal everything and more concrete and more metal and I-beams and but Rapid Fire did pretty damn good. This is the ORT antenna. There it was, my friends. That was it. Hold on, and I didn't like freak out and celebrate. I actually like kept ripping and threw in a couple more tasty things before inevitably crashing. Yeah, here's a look at a bunch of the rest of it. Oh god, that was a cool dive that I figured out this year. That was a really cool little power loop Matty flip spot. But yeah, that was it. That's other than the impossible dive through the big mouth looking thing over there. I think that's one of the hardest things to do in this whole ridiculous little flight line here. I played around a lot more with, so that right there, that was another really cool thing. We did a little dive competition with that little dive that I just half-ass attempted there. But yeah, this is just, yeah, that's the impossible dive right there. I can't believe I just tried it. I was just talking about it. Yeah, it's just, you can't see anything, so it's just a luck dive. And so I haven't really done it many times because I don't like the luck moves. Like I want moves to be based in skill, not just like, yeah, I did it 82 times and then eventually I blipped the throttle at just the right time and came out the window. You know, that power loop, that's not luck. Like that is skill. That is blasting the throttle at the right point, getting back control of yourself, controlling your elevation, getting back into the tunnel. You know what I mean? It's not just random chance to do that. So yeah, and that's the stuff that I dig the most. So yeah, that's the only flight footage I'm going to play tonight. We will dive deep into a bunch of flight footage on Whoop Wednesday. I have completely neglected to chat for the entire live stream. I'm just gonna hit people who've tagged me so far. Freelojo. Oh, and it looks like YouTube deleted everything before. Wait, no, not. When do we start streaming? Oh, no, we're good. Freelojo, thank you for putting the Patreon link into the chat. Denzel the Terrible says he's back. Did you pick up some of that limited edition Ledrib Guyliner while at Rotor Riot? No. The Guyliner was he made a couple of those. That was a man, that's OG shit. That's going like 4 years back, I think. That's back in Joshua wearing the sarong days. CMYK saying, yo gang the gang and CiottiFPV. If you want to talk directly to me, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV into your message. It'll light up an orange for me. You can do it with each other. If you want to talk to CBFPV in your message, type CB space FPV, and for him, his name will light up an orange. CB says yo-yo. Denzel the Terrible says FPVsuno.com. What the hell is that? Nathan Otis says, look at the light when you're not exhausted. It's probably not plugged in. Well, CBFPV. Wait, what light? What light? Which light? Oh, yeah, that one. No, it is plugged in. Because I only know because I unplugged it and plugged it back in. It was the second thing I did. First thing I did was push the button a bunch. CBFPV also says, can we watch this now? I was unable to watch it live. I have no idea. I have not had any time to do anything. I'll figure it out, though, by Friday. Because Friday we're going to dive into the, hopefully, Insta360 Go footage of the BMX stuff. Brent Anderson says, stick time, yeah, man, cheers. Sharemare24 says, where can I get extra 0702 C-clips? TinyWhoop.com had them. They went out of stock. It's the only place that I've ever seen that has extra C-clips. Start breaking motors, and then don't throw the motors away. Keep the broken motors, and you'll have extra C-clips. That's what I've done. Shermer, if you're absolutely desperate for C-clips, I have a bunch because I've broken loads of motors. You're going to have to pay $5 in shipping, which is kind of silly. So maybe jump on to CiottiFPV.com, go to my Etsy store. Maybe there's something you want to buy there, and then just leave a note or message me on Instagram with whatever you want to buy, and I'll make you a little package, throw a couple of C-clips in, and away you go. But check Tiny Whoop. They do have them on their website. Looks like somebody already got that in the chat. Nathan Otis says, drop that link in the chat. We're good. I did that. Denzel the Turbo says, I will do anything and everything to be your assistant in Stockholm. Are you out there? Denzel, where are you? I forget where you're at. Johnny then says, being in a different country, would that allow you to go to a different setup? And if so, would you? If Stockholm happens, I will have to do a bunch of research on what their drone laws are before I can even accept the gig for them, because they might not even allow 250, right? They might have, it might be 100 to fly over people. You know, I'll have to do, I'll have to do a bunch of digging and research and whatnot. Did I just see the stream stutter? Don't start this shit with me again, OBS. Don't you do that. You've been so good. So yeah, and if it's like sub 100, I'll have to look at like one of these, like the Itsy or one of these 2-inch setups, and yeah, I don't know, we'll see. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. BLD says, I'm sure there's a decibel meter app for the phone. There is, but Patrick's is like proper. It's like a proper good dB meter. MB Steez says, you men going through my own mental health shit today. Happy you're live. Distract me, brother. Noob FPV pilot here. You're in a good place, MB Steezy. I've got a over on CiottiFPV.com all the way at the bottom. There's a link to FPV therapy on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook anymore because they're awful and they have banned me a bunch of times for absolute nonsense reasons that don't even exist. And I was also hacked on there one time, so I really don't monitor that group anymore. But there are people in that group that are amazing, and they're going through it with us. So great group over on Facebook, but also on my Discord channel. Discord link over on the website, and it's one of the channels that's open to everybody, one of the text channels that's open to everybody over on Discord. So yeah, read some stuff, realize that there's a whole shitload of us that are dealing with it. You know, one of the things that mental health stuff does a really good job convincing us is that we're all alone. It's just us, and we're the broken ones, and everybody else is great and wonderful, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. So yeah, man, smash through it. Put your head down. You know what to do. You've done it before. Tomorrow will always come. You got it. Nathan Otis, that's what she said. Nathan Otis says, so pretty low pressure gig. Yeah. Yeah. It was chill. It was totally chill all day. It was fucking hot too, man. Thursday was mega hot. Friday was thankfully a lot cooler. But then Saturday was hot as hell again. CMYK with the CiottiFPV.com link again. Thank you, dude. Peace and love. Thank you again for the support. J-Dog says, how was Rampage? It was amazing, as it always is. If you guys ever get a chance to go to Rampage, for the love of God, do it. I know it's expensive. Look, Rampage is not a thing that you're going to do over and over and over and over and over again. Rampage is a thing that you do once in your life, and maybe you never do it again. And that's okay, right? It's like the peak. It's the top. It's the biggest event. You're going to get a swag bag with a ton of cool shit. You're going to have a chance to win a bunch of cool stuff. They're throwing stuff out at the closing ceremony. Like, you know, it's the fucking Woodstock of FPV. And so, yeah, at some point, try to get there. Yes, it's expensive, but again, it's not like a required thing. But it's wild. It is absolutely worth it. Says the guy who's never paid to be there. But look, if you volunteer, you get either a massive discount, or I think you even, I don't really know how the volunteering works. I'm a little bit of a different case because I have some sort of an internet presence here, right? But there are ways to go to Rampage that don't cost you a ton of money. And if you volunteer, you get to meet everyone. Yes, you're going to have to work when you're there, but work is running a flight line and talking to 1,000 other, not 1,000, but 100 other FPV pilots. So the work that you're going to be doing is really fun. And like, yeah, you're not going to get to fly quite as much, but you're not going to be able to fly a lot at Rampage because you're going to break everything way quick, because everything there is made of either concrete or metal. So you will break all of your shit even if you work a ton of shifts. I promise you that. And as a volunteer, you get to stay until Monday and you get to come early and fly a ton. So like, I promise you, if you volunteer, you will break everything and you will get to fly plenty. So there are ways to get to Rampage without paying full boat pricing. If you can pay full boat pricing, that's sort of the way to do it, because you have ultimate freedom, right? And you can just walk around, hang out, go to all the events, all the stuff. But there are ways to get to Rampage for not tons of money. You just got to want it, you got to be hungry for it, and you got to do it. And the people that are there, those are the people that made it happen. And that's one of the reasons that it's such a cool experience. It's because, yeah, it's people that are hungry for this, that are doing what they have to do, and making sacrifices in most cases to make it happen. And that just makes it like that next level of cool, because 99% of the people there are in that same boat, and it's rad. So put it on your bucket list, my friends. Siskel FPV says, give me 1 second, Siskel. If I don't do this, my voice will go before the end of the stream. For the record, as soon as I get caught up on chat, I'm going to kill the stream, because I want to have a voice for Wednesday. And I have a gig tomorrow, too, so I need to get some sleep. I'm flying a 5K Pride run tomorrow night. So, yeah, I got to get my stuff in order and get things figured out. Siskel says, have you done anything with the VCI 803s? Got some today to put them on my 75 Air walk snail build, and with a new 450, I got 3+ minutes using voltage sag, 90% thrust linear, 20% no anti-gravity. Yes, on Whoop Wednesday last week, maybe the week before. No, there wasn't on last week. 2 weeks ago. I put them on, flew them. So there's flight footage on a live stream, and then I flew them a bunch at Micro Mayhem, and I am not getting good runtime with them. I'm getting 1 minute and 50 seconds. I'm pushing them hard. I actually talked to Mike about them, and he's aware that they're not the most efficient motors. They make great power though, and with great power doesn't necessarily come great efficiency. What's interesting about them is that 1002s, which are significantly heavier, get significantly better efficient, are way more efficient than them. So I think that in the future, the VCI 03s might get like a V2 that gets you even more efficiency from them. I love the power, I love the weight, and so far I love the durability. They held up. There are no bent motor shafts, and I didn't fly them a lot, but I did slam them pretty good. We'll watch the footage on Wednesday and talk more about them. But yeah, we are one step closer with them. But they're not the end all be all. I was hoping that they would be the ones, and it would be it. With a 1mm motor shaft, they're probably not going to be the ones on a heavy 75mm walk snow rig. I'm shocked that I didn't bend a motor shaft. But yeah, we'll dive deeper on Wednesday. J-Dog says, I got inspired watching your RC drift cars. Currently chasing some off-road RC and regular RC with my Vision Pro, Vision 40 and Pico. Can't seem to find RC drift cars though. Thanks for the inspire. Hell yeah, man. Do it more. Do it all the time. Do it every day. Yeah, I realized a bit ago that I've been chasing those RC drift cars for over a year now. So basically like every other Thursday for over a year. And you can see it. Last year's Rampage edit. Well, I forgot to tell you guys something. Last year's Rampage edit was me chasing the RC drift cars and watching that back to back with this year's. There's a yeah, you can see it. You can tell I've done it a bunch since then. But yo, look at this. And look at this. Oh, where is it? What? Where'd it go? I showed it to Maggie, and she put it down somewhere. Hold on. Oh, there it is. I found it. I won again, yo. The RC drift car edit that I scheduled to go up on Friday, I guess. Yeah, I won, yo. Two-time award-winning FPV pilot. This guy. What a cool... Look how... This is 3D printed. This is unbelievably... I've never seen a 3D print this, like, gorgeous. This is really well done. Yeah, super cool. I gotta get like a stand for it or something, or maybe I'll put something on the back to hang it on the wall. But then it's got this, you know, like this is cool on the back. But yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure out what to do with this. I mean, I guess it could like, this is the one the one from last year is really cool looking too. But it's, you know, it's got like a base, so you can just stand it up. I don't know. Do I put this one like here? Is that the move? Or like over there or something? I don't know. Or maybe I just get a little plastic stand. You know, they sell those little like stands for plates, and it just doink. So yeah, yo. Thank you to all that voted for me. That was very cool of you. I appreciate it. The community spotlight edit that was in second place was really, actually the second and third place, they were both really, really good. So there was some stiff competition. I'm lucky to have won. But yeah, people were blown away by that edit, as was I. When I got done with that edit, I was like, oh shit, that was a good day of flying. Not all days that I go chase those guys am I nearly that locked in. So that was very cool. MBCZ says, I watch, bro. Siskel says, you're only one of maybe 3 live streams I watch, and the only one I try to catch from the start on the regular. I appreciate it, brother. All you guys. It's super, super, super cool that you guys watch. It really, really, really is. MBCZ says, I never watch live. I watch back when I'm not working. So you have an audience when you're not live, and it does feel great to be seen. It's not a manly thing, but it's just true. Yeah, it is. It's a human thing, right? It is literally human nature, and you know it like feels, there's like this weird like shallow feeling to it, right? Like, because you don't, and you don't, because you don't want to like get, you see like celebrities, right, that get way carried away with it and become monsters, right? But like, look, that's not most people, right? It's okay to crave that. Just don't be crazy. I don't know. You guys know what I'm trying to say. J-Dog says, when you flew the RC Drift, what rig and motors were you running? When I was trying to capture RC off-road cars indoors, I had to use a slower motor because I seemed to be bouncing up and down. It was, so so again, I've been doing it every other Thursday pretty much for the last full year. And there's been a long development of the rig. First I was doing it on just like regular old Mobula 6 freestyle rigs. Then I realized I wanted props out of view. So to push the camera up front, I went to a Fractal 65 frame. The problem with that frame is it's heavy, it blocks a bunch of the thrust, and the camera mount sucks, in my opinion. But that rig actually worked pretty good just because the camera was up front. That made a huge difference, and I was able to get much better footage with that. But this most recent edit, the reason it's so good is that I got off of that frame. I got away from all those negatives of any carbon fiber frame, right? Tiny Whoops, Tiny Whoop frames, the way that the supports are, they're very aerodynamic, and the frame itself is very, very lightweight. And so any carbon fiber frame, you deal with a flat piece of carbon blocking the thrust, and it really does make a difference. My runtime went up from almost 3 minutes on the carbon frame to over 4 minutes on some batteries with the current setup, which is just a regular old frame with this very cool little mount that we call the Batwing mount, which Timmons has designed for us very kindly, and it is available over on the Discord channel with the 3D printing Discord channel. The STLs are up. We're still working on them. The one that's done, to my knowledge, I'm brain dead at the moment, but this actually isn't the rig, but the one of these that's absolutely done, like, ready to go, is the Walk Snail one. There are a bunch of other ones for analog cameras that are getting close. They're getting better and better and better, but we started with the Walk Snail one, and that one is like absolutely good to go. I think we're on like version 6 of it, version 5 or version 6 of it, and we've made all the improvements. It's awesome. It's just there. That particular edit, I don't remember which of these rigs I was flying, but it was one of these two. One of these rigs is on 702 30,000s, and the other one is on unobtainable because it's a prototype motor, 603 30,000 kV motors. So both on 30,000s. I believe that edit was flown on this one with the lighter motors. 702s are lighter than 603s, and biblades. This rig on these 603s is like kind of an experimental thing. What's it like with more power from a bigger motor and tri-blade props? They both fly great. This rig is significantly lighter. When I say significantly lighter, realize that that's like 1 gram, but that's a lot with a Tiny Whoop. This flies definitely better. The lighter weight really does work better. So yeah, 702 30,000. This is the best that I've ever had. I've also flown them with 36,000 kV motors. The throttle control is a little bit more difficult, but with Throttle Expo, you can fix that. I have a live stream where I dove really deep into Throttle Expo, how to set it, how to do it. if you don't want to bounce elevation, you have to use Throttle Expo. It is the only way to drop down into ground effect and have any chance of not just bobbing along, which looks terrible. So yeah, look that stream up. Go to my channel, click the little magnifying glass, and search for Throttle Expo, and you'll find the live stream. Or maybe somebody will drop it in the chat. It is an absolute necessity. It is the only way to be able to control your altitude that close to the ground for the little RC drift cars. And that is one of the reasons why it is so difficult to chase them. And in my opinion, because I've done them both, literally harder to produce good footage from chasing the RC drift cars than full-size drift cars. So yeah, one of the things, don't get me wrong, chasing full-size drift cars is a blast, but you can't really crash because you might get run over, you might hurt somebody, right? So you just can't crash. So you can't take huge chances, and you don't get much stick time. Like, you know, these, you go there for an hour, you fly for 55 minutes out of that hour. You know, you just get unlimited batteries. I go there and fly. Typically, I'll fly 18 or 24 batteries every single time I go. Every single time, just back to 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 back. 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes, over and over and over again. Just, you know, land on the controller, pull the battery, another one, right back out. And yeah, you'll never get that from a full-size drifting bag. You'll get plenty of stick time, and you'll have an absolute blast. But chasing the little RC drift cars is just next level. It's completely brought FPV back to life for me. Not that it was not back to life, but like, I've been flying for 8 years, and this is like a really fresh, new, incredible thing, and that doesn't come along super often. It came along with when I started flying like cinematic gigs with the music videos and all that stuff. It happened with the cycle racing stuff, and now it's happened again. But this is like, yeah, it's legit. There are around somewhere near most of you guys, there are people with an RC drift track that are doing it. You just got to find it. It's not gonna be easy to find. I really got lucky where I found a place that had sim racing rigs, and I went there specifically to just screw around on their sim rigs. And there were a bunch of RC drift car guys there that night. I just happened to go on a Thursday night, so I just absolutely lucked out. You guys are gonna have to probably work harder to find it, but put some time in. I bet you can find it. Use your Google Foo, search for Facebook groups. You know, find all the different names of the cities around you, and search Google, search Facebook, search Instagram for the name of those cities and like RC Drift or something like that. My voice is gonna go. Nobody else tag me. I gotta wrap this up. If my voice goes, Wednesday is gonna be a real struggle. BLD, thank you for the support. Mudderson, thank you for the support. YouTube just did the thing. Mo FPV, how was the trip, man? Wish I could have been there. It was awesome. Rewind back. I gave you a nice recap of the major points, and then we're going to dive deeper on Wednesday and Friday. I'll see you there. Denzel the Terrible says, Suno.com is the AI music link. Ah, nice. I'm pulling that up, actually. I want that open in a tab. Suno.com. Make a song about anything. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is a problem. This website should not exist. This is going to be an issue. See you guys next month. Wow, what? Oh, no. There we go. I'm leaving that open. Thank you, dude. Denzel the Terrible says, I'm in Canada, used to northern conditions, experienced photographer, videographer, all-around handsome guy, perfect assistant material. Copenhagen is in Europe, though, isn't it? We'll figure it out. I probably won't be able to choose having an assistant. Usually, like, they hire. Usually, what it is somebody from their hardware department. They'll just reassign him as my assistant. We'll see. It might not even happen. Big long road ahead of us before then. Jeremy says, how do you get your stuff there if you need to fly? One of the main reasons that I've stuck with the Low Pro BPX3 is it's a big bag, and my gear fits perfect in that bag, and there's no wasted space. And so every single cycle, I've done America Criterium Cup and National Cycling League events in Denver, Salt Lake City, Miami Beach. I'm forgetting either one or two others. And I've flown to all of those, and I can fit it all in the BPX. I bring 12 batteries, 3 rigs, 1 transmitter, which is kind of sketchy, 2 sets of DJI goggles, the RC Pro, the old school RC Pro, I forget what it's called, and some other stuff. And yeah, it all fits on the BPX3. I don't check the bag because fuck checking bags. And yeah, in the overhead bin, away we go. I put a couple of pairs of clothes and away we and yeah, good to go. Hockey Round says 3D print a stand. Of course. BLD says send me some dimensions on model, stand up in CAD and print it for you. You won't need to print it for me anymore, BLD. But yeah, I'll figure some. I bet you there's already something on Thingiverse. But thank you guys. Cole Power says, did you get the AMS for multi-material? I don't know what that means. Even with a single extruder, that's going to be super useful. Soon I will know what a single extruder is and maybe what an AMS is. And I assume multi-material means multiple rolls of filament. Filament is the word. I was going to say TPU, but I didn't want to make an ass out of myself. It's called filament. Right? I think. Parkour Guy says, did you see Weebly dropped the 0702, 32,500, and 40,000, 80 some sets of both? I did. There are still a bunch of the 40,000 KVs in stock. If you fly tiny whoops outside, you owe it to yourself to buy a set of the Weebly 0702 40,000s. They're hysterical. They're a novelty item, though. They're going to mangle your batteries. You're going to potentially like brown your AIO out, but they're hysterically fun. Just don't sit at full throttle. They are for blasts of throttle that are like a half a second long. So blip the throttle. You don't need to sit them at full throttle. You don't need to fly a tiny whoop in the fucking clouds. You need the highest you ever need to go with a tiny whoop is 100 feet. And if you hammer the throttle for like 1 second, it'll be 100 feet. So just don't sit full throttle, and the 40,000s are totally fine. But understand that they are off the fucking rails. They're just absurd. But they're hysterical. So do them. Get yourself a set of 40,000s. You'll dig them. And then you can just motor limit them down, right? Like buy the 40,000s, run them at full stank, laugh your ass off, and then bring them down to 90% or 80%. And you've got, all the power in the world or something that you can fly inside. Damo Salmon says, I got the Milo 6 2024 last week because of your review. I didn't think I could have this much fun with the Whoop. Hell yeah. Thanks. One thing I noticed is that the PID loop default was really low. It is. Yeah. Follow my PID tuning advice, which is just take the first slider, the D-gain slider, move it up from 1.0 to 1.2, fly it. Make sure nothing's weird. Move it up to 1.4. Take the P&I slider, move that up to 1.2. Fly it. Make sure nothing's weird. Keep that ratio. And just keep pushing it up until it starts acting and sounding funny, and then back it off. As you beat it up, you're going to have to continue to back that off as it gets more beat. And then once you get it to the point where they're like at stock values, now's when you want to look at replacing motors. Replace props more frequently than that, but just understand that as you push a PID tune up higher, the rig will not be able to take as much vibrations. So as you pound the thing, you're going to have to bring them back down. But for right now, it's nice and clean, so you can push them up. And yeah, away you go. That is like a 95% good PID tune right there. Super simple. J-Dog says, very cool. Cole Powers says, there's an indoor RC drift track near me, but my small squad is the Synolog 30. Yeah, don't bring that. It's terrifying. We've done it before. It doesn't work. Scotty Scott says, got both my Mob 6 2024s from Black Market FPV, great rigs. So it sounds like finally some of you are not having Mobula 6 2024s that blow up in the first few batteries. That's great. I was sure that that would happen eventually. Fair warning. Bunch of folks in the chat have had Mobula 6 2024s that have just not made it past a few batteries. So yeah, not looking like they have nearly as good quality control or just general quality as the old school Mobula 6, which is a real shame. But maybe they'll get that straightened out. Only time will tell. I've pounded the balls out of mine, and it's been completely fine. I beat the shit out of it at Micro Mayhem. And yeah, it's still rolling. So they're not bad, but hey. June Logo says, have you swapped the motors on the new Mobula 6? I've not. I'm keeping the motors on it, keeping it relatively stock to see how much abuse that it'll take. The motors are getting bad, though. The motor shafts are pretty bent. There's a bunch of jello. I'm having to back the tune off. But it's still going, and I just want to see how far it'll go on the stock setup. What's up, Nightwing? How you doing, brother? He says, have you tried the new SuperX? Yep. The Happy Model was cool enough to send me a Mobula 6 2024 relatively early. I've had it on a whole bunch of live streams. I have a stream that I literally called like extreme durability testing it, where I tried to do this big nasty corkscrew down the stairwell in the hardwood over and over and over and over and over again, and it just kept going. And yeah, that's what really pounded the shit out of the motors and bent the motor shafts up. But it keeps going, and it still flies awesome. And we'll look at some footage from Micro Mayhem with it on Wednesday. June, look, we got that. Scotty Scott with the last comment of the live stream. What are the issues? What do you mean, Scotty Scott? Tell me more. What are the issues with what? And then we'll let it go. Sleepy CBR's in the chat. Cole Powers as well. Man, I'm exhausted. Yeah, let me know what you're referring to. For the Mobula 6, I still don't know what you mean. Are you asking what is breaking on the peoples that are breaking? I think it's been like VTXs, maybe ESCs, but it kind of doesn't matter with AIOs, right? Like, if an AIO lets go, it lets go. You can't fix it. You can't like swap the VTX. You can't swap the receiver. You can't swap the ESC. If it goes, it goes, right? So it kind of doesn't matter. It either works or it doesn't. And there's been a bunch. Off the top of my head, I think we're at 4, maybe 5. That's a pretty small number. We've got a lot of people buying them. But yeah, we don't have that many people that have gotten them. But yeah, they're just letting go. And it's not people doing anything wrong. It's people plugging in batteries and flying them on stock tunes and stock setups, right? We're not modifying these things yet where we can start to like just blame people for not knowing how to solder. So yeah, but hey, it's a $105 or whatever tiny whoop that performs better, not better, but damn near as good as the ultimate freestyle rig that I spent 1,000 hours, probably not that, probably maybe 500 hours yeah, R&Ding on these live streams over the last year. So pretty goddamn impressive. And in theory, they will get the quality control stuff figured out. Or maybe it was just 4 or 5 bad ones that just happened to go out and they just happened to go to people that are in the chat, right? The durability side of FPV is really, really, really difficult. But if a rig blows up within the first like 4 or 5 batteries, that is a problem, right? That is almost never the user's fault. So yeah, that scared me a little bit. But it's great to see a bunch of you guys not having them blow up. Sleepy CBR, the $1.99 super chat, he says, for the outro, LOL. Cole Powers says, there should be a flight controller OEM who can repair birds as refurb. The problem is, the people that can repair SMD, surface mount, stuff, they're going to charge you more money than it will cost you to just buy a new one, unfortunately, because it's skilled labor and it's time-intensive stuff. So, yeah, there are tons of people that can repair our flight controllers, but you'll pay probably $100 would be my guess for them to repair them. Why would you do that? Striker, you came in a little too late. Rewind. Lots of good stuff in the live stream. I got to go. My voice is shot. I love you guys. Be good. I'll see you Wednesday. I'll be more alive and my voice will not sound so jacked up. But yeah, watch this live stream back. Lots of cool stuff. Love you guys. Bye. I'm not ready. Here's another battery from... No. Let me play you something different. Here's analog flight footage from the glide with the Wasp Major big, ridiculous motors, limited all the way down to 80%. Today, a few hours ago. Is this the last battery I flew? No, so let me go, not the last battery, one before that. Oh, it didn't, oh, this file's broken, that's annoying. Here's the last battery I flew on those Wasp Majors. Love you guys, bye. Blah, 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 blah. Come on. This is the analog footage. Look how good this analog footage looks. Bye! Hold on. Bye.